Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hi everyone.
It
Hi.
is Friday again. Can you believe how fast Friday gets here?
I know, crazy.
I feel like I'm getting old too quickly.
It's like all of a sudden it's like Friday again. I don't even remember where the week went at all. So go ahead, Whimsy. Go ahead and do some introductions.
I would say hi to you and hi to Nina and hi to everybody out there who decided to join us today. By the way, Nina, you said you had snow. You had it so cold over there. I just had a quick question for you before we greet everybody. What's the story with the snow, creating snow from a glass of water you were telling us earlier? So you throw it in the air?
Yeah, it's like -40, and with the wind chill, it gets colder than that. So my son, we took a mug of hot water, and we went outside. I videotaped him, and he threw it up in the air, and it just created snow. So it has been really, yeah.
So what's the temperature in Fahrenheit up there?
That is, when you go below -0, you guys have the same. So when I say -40, it's -40. It's just when we go into the positive side that our numbers change.
Oh, I didn't know that.
From what I can understand.
Well, Celsius is the Fahrenheit number -32 times 5.9 or something like. It's cold. It's very, very cold.
Yeah, but once it gets minus, it ends up being the same numbers because it's about the freezing point and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really, really cold. Really cold. Like freeze your, keep water running kind of cold.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll all be warming up here together. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the people that took the time to join us today while Sheila gets us ready. I'm just going to give a hello to Greeter TK, Teresa Cole. Thank you so much for coming early. Sharon Sipe is in the house. 171 Sagnan is here as well, and we welcome you. JB Bambara, Dove Girl as well. Didi Abdel is in the house, as is L. Min, Johanna M., Renee Remington, and Crafty Yola. We'll continue to say hi to everybody as we go along. But before we get started, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification so that you can be notified about all upcoming videos with lovely Sheila here at Celtic Tarot. And with that, I give the floor back to you, Sheila. Hello.
Well, thank you. And also, everybody, always go check out everybody else's channel as well. Not only do we come together here, they also do their own thing on their own channels. So, and they produce a lot of great and wonderful readings and a lot of great content as well. So always do that and go like and subscribe there. So with that said, I don't know if there is a moderator out there that is willing to post everybody's web or channel in the chat. That'll probably help everybody too. So, Nina, I wanted, you were on your channel. I know that I watch both of your guys' videos all the time. But on yours, Nina, you said something about living in Newfoundland, and you guys often had blackouts and not any water and all of that stuff. And that was like your normal way of life.
Yep.
So go ahead and tell a little bit about that before we bring our guest on.
Okay, well, I mean, growing up in Newfoundland, and they still have problems with electricity, it is an issue there. And growing up, every winter, you knew you were going to lose your lights for a certain amount of time. There'd always be at least 2 or 3 occasions where you'd lose your lights, electricity, heat, the whole 9 yards. And even in the summer, because we were on well water, our well would go dry. So you'd have to go to the pond to get the water and stuff. But I don't think people realize, because I was watching the news and it really triggered me, because when I was in Newfoundland and we had this 2-week stint where we didn't have any heat, light, or anything. And at that time, the phone was connected. So you didn't have a phone. We didn't have a car. So if something happened, you're really stuck or depending on the help of others. And everybody's in the same boat. Everything was just crazy. But you're looking at Texas where that's not normal. I mean, I watched my father have a heart attack, have to go to the hospital. It was traumatic. It was so difficult. And I don't think people realize that behind all these numbers and statistics and the stories and, deadbeat crews, that there are people that are suffering. There's people that are alone. There's people that are hungry. There's people that don't have water. There's somebody who's having a heart attack and not getting help that could have. So I know I sound dramatic, but it is dramatic. if you're there and it's happening to you and you have a loved one that's sick or something, you don't realize the emotional strain of it. And here it's in Texas. They don't know what to do. This is not their norm. This is not something that they deal with. So why the wait to get people to help? I know there's weather issues and all that kind of stuff, but dear God in heaven above, like, it's heartbreaking. It really is. And
So
during COVID, it's such a difficult time. It doubles it up, and my heart is just broken for them. And it's not just Texas; it's a lot of other places. Just that we're hearing a lot about Texas, I guess.
Yeah,
You know?
some parts of Oregon still heavily hit the eastern side. I think we had 100,000 without power a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Thank God Portland wasn't hit. Sheila, I know parts of Colorado have been hurt as well. Are you okay?
Yeah, I haven't lost anything or anything like that. My
Good.
brother down in Mississippi, on Facebook, he has twins, and he's been posting pictures of so that keep everybody calm, of them in front of the fireplace and keeping warm and stuff like that. But I've been in communication with him even in Mississippi, so near Jackson. So what I want from Whimsy, you are phenomenal at giving prayers, and that's the moment. Hold on. I don't want to cry through it. So to take that moment of silence and give them a prayer from us, and have everybody in the chat to also hand over the prayer. So Whimsy, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, because I know that you come up with the best prayers I've heard ever.
Okay.
So
right. I just want to bring the community together in spirit at this time and call on the collective spirit to send protection, love, and healing to everybody who is suffering due to the bad weather, and to just send love and light to them. And with grace, we just want to pray that everyone receives the healing and love and support they need. And with that, I say amen. It's not really much more to say. I do know that on my channel, we have continued to fund feedamerica.org, because unfortunately, the hunger is now setting in. It goes back to the remotes that we had talked about, where get your house in order, February's coming, and just can't stress it enough. If you can help where you can, take care of your family to the best of your ability. And unfortunately, this is not over. Now we have rapid melting happening in much of the United States and Texas. They're talking about serious flooding. And the film footage of houses where it's freezing, that ice that's there is all melting. And so now people are dealing with mold, destruction. We're talking about potentially something that's going to bankrupt many states in the United States. So it's correct. It's a difficult time. It's a difficult time.
So I wish I could get together a caravan and just go down there and just help whoever, what it is. But that's our hearts, they come out. Go ahead, Nina.
I'm just going to respond to Elizabeth, because I can see the chat. Woo!
Yay!
And Elizabeth had mentioned about, we had a freeze back in 1998, and yes, it was, the ice froze everything across Ontario and Montreal, Quebec. And we even had paper in the national paper. It came out, I survived the ice storm of 1998. And they had this big certificate because it was horrendous, like really bad. So, hi.
Yep.
Okay,
all right. So I want to bring in our guest. Yes, his name is Jeffrey. His channel is called Right Color. And I did a reading for him. The way I met him is he emailed me, and I did a reading for him, and this was the barter gift that he sent me, was my scarves, and this is what he made. He makes them handmade, and he'll show you a video of how he does his scarves and things like that.
Can we see the whole scarf? Can we see it?
Absolutely. So this is the scarf that he made. He picked out the color, he picked out the pattern.
Beautiful.
And he made
it. It's beautiful.
Right? So with the colors and the painting, and he puts his own little thingamajigger there. So, and he also does tarot readings. If anybody is subscribed to his channel, he also does tarot readings. So let me bring our guest in, and I want you to meet him. He's great. He's wonderful, and here he is.
Hi.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so Jeffrey, I'm going to go ahead and turn the show over to you. Would love to hear how you got started. Tell us a little bit about yourself and all kinds of great stuff and what goes on your channel. And
Okay.
if you have any specials going on, go for it.
Okay. So my name's Jeffrey. I call my station Ripe Color because that's pretty much what I do. I'm an artist and a painter. I paint with dye on fabric. I'm based in New York. I'm in the middle of New York City. I'm a native New Yorker. I've been reading cards for a long time. And actually, I have this might sound a little weird, but I have a teddy bear and he's kind of my higher self, right?
Yeah.
So at night when I go to sleep, it's like, okay, let's go to sleep. And he's like, la, 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 la. I'm like, oh my God. So for years, he's been saying, you should do YouTube. You should do YouTube. So I finally got around to YouTube. I started a little bit before before COVID, a little bit before, like maybe November, December, around then. And I wasn't that serious about it. And the truth is, the one who really got me to like say, oh yeah, you could do this and you could serve people was Whimsy. Because I was watching you and watching your station. I was like, oh yeah. And there are certain things that you said, Whimsy, that were so profound to me. Like you talked about, being an empath, coming from that childhood, whatever that means. I think most people came from that childhood.
Right.
And, having to rely on that, because, you look around, like for me as a kid, it was like, well, the law isn't working and the government isn't working and religion isn't working and the family dynamic doesn't work. And, it was like, oh, so I got this inner thing of, you got to get through this.
Superpowers. You develop superpowers to survive,
Exactly.
Which is why that was the population that they picked for
Right.
MK Ultra experiments. And a lot of those children are suing.
Yeah, well,
They did get put through that, but good for you that you made it, survived and came out the other end, and now you're serving people, because that's the goal. So,
yeah.
May I ask, at what point did you discover that you had the ability to read?
I've been playing really for a long time with the cards, and this is always something that's fascinated me. And I always felt like it's almost as if, well, I think I always had the ability, but I sort of poo-pooed it. I was like, oh, everybody else is better than me at it, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and la la la. And then I would read for someone and I would say, oh, and your mathematical thing. And they're like, how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you really love math. And, that's not something that comes up in everyday conversation. It's like, you really love math, Because to me, it's like, what? You really love math? I can't even add.
What do you mean by the mathematical? What are you talking about?
All of a sudden, I would just start getting information.
Oh, I see, the download.
Getting it right. And actually, in the past few years, it's really taken off. It's like, and what's been happening really since I started my station, in a way, is the clairaudience stuff really started coming through. It's like, oh, so I have to step out of the way. And that's been a long, slow process of learning how to step out of the way. Because, I guess in a way, kind of related to what I said about my childhood, it was sort of like, well, I'm in charge here, I'm in charge here, I'm in charge here. And I've had to allow myself to not be in charge. And I think that comes with being beaten down enough times to say, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Will
Right.
you help me, please? I
Right.
say that a lot on my station. I said, prayer comes down to help, thank you. Help, thank you.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it comes down to for me.
I always feel like my higher self, when I think about my higher self, when I do the meditations, or how I hear Gaia, the mother of all life, she's this strict Southern lady saying, be about your business, child.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for whatever reason, that was the archetype that I needed to get me through whatever, was that strong, loyal, maternal kind of an energy. And I think it's good that we, not that it's a projection, but that we have these symbols in our lives. For you, it's the teddy bear, that kind of act to, that we talk to, that we, it's kind of cool that you did that.
Nina, do you have any questions for him before we kind of go into some readings and the hot topics?
Oh, we'll just go for the readings now, I think.
She's like, okay.
Well,
You know.
well, as you all know, the hot topic, of course, is the weather. What's going down in Texas? The conservatives are blaming the liberals. The liberals are blaming the conservatives. They're blaming the New Green Deal on this. And also, we have Ted Cruz is in the news again because he went to Cabo. Does anybody have any feelings about that before we throw the cards? Or yes, you.
Okay, so my first thing is I have been going over all of these things, and I've been on Facebook, and a lot of people are talking about how is it that the liberals keep on throwing him under the bus? Why do they have to always do that? And I keep on going, well, is it the mayor? I said, your mayor started it first by lying. If he would have just come out and said, we have been having problems with this, and he would have been straight up, there would have been nobody, doing what they're doing right now. And I thought to myself, I sound like a little kid. You started it first. You know what I mean? So I'm also getting sucked into it all. But, I think Ted Cruz deserves every ounce of exposure as possible. So that's my 2 cents.
The chat is exploding. Evidently, it came out that Ted Cruz left his dog Snowflake to basically freeze to death in the house alone.
Okay, so I also researched that. That's that's not true, because
That's not true?
No, because I researched that too, because I would have really been hammered on that one. What happened was that he had a security guy at his house that took care of the dog and the house. So that's how, when they leave, that's how they do it. It's like they leave a lot, so they have that in place. And the dog and the electricity, I guess, is back on in his house today. But so that was not true.
What a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a terrific human being. I'm so freaking impressed with him. Fantastic.
So a lot of people have asked if we could do the first, you guys can, it's up to you guys. If we could do some throws on Texas and also the future of Ted Cruz. Are they finally going to throw this guy out? What do y'all think?
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah.
So
what do you think? What do you think, Nina? But I know you kind of. What do you think of Nina? Was that your opinion about the guy?
No, I did a reading last night. I was triggered, so I had to go on and get my energy out into the world. And Cruz, if he thought he was going to become president, he's so wrong. And it's not even, he's not even going to fill out his term. He's going to end up leaving. I got the 8 of Cups walking away. This is the proverbial nail that's going to shut his coffin. I believe that there's going to be paper documents, something coming out that has his name on it. He's involved. He knew back when that this was going to be a possibility. He's going to be involved. There's going to be something with his name on it. And when it came to Texas, you guys, unfortunately, are going to be going through some major changes. Your political setup is not for the people, it's for the big businesses. That is now what the people of Texas are starting to realize. And that's going to be a slow change, but there is going to be somebody, the King of Cups, who's going to come out, who's going to be taking the emotions of the people and bringing that forth. They're going to start turning their back, because all levels of government are going to have to defend themselves. But at the end of the day, I got my Sun card. My Sun card means that Everything's going to be exposed. There's going to be documents, papers, information. Texas is going to be going through it for a while because politically you're going to be getting the tower, and it's just going to blow up everything from the foundation. And Texas will, again, rebuild from the foundation up, but their foundation will include the cycle of people, because on the sun card, I got my little group of people and they're all holding hands. And this is about returning back to the cycle of life, bringing people back into the base of the foundation, because we've lost our way. Money, power, and whatever pathetic things they are doing, it's corrupted. And now this is a necessary change that's going to change the corruption. So I'll let everybody go because I already threw my cards on it. I feel very strongly in it. So
we're reading on Cruz first, correct?
Yes, we're reading on Cruz first, and maybe the fate of Cruz. Is that what maybe the? And ironically, I literally got the 8 of Cups right off the bat too. That
there you go.
Walking away from the whole situation. However, I got also the High Priestess. It's he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to at all. Page of Wands. He's hoping. He's the Fool. He's hoping to smooth this over. He's hoping to talk his way out of it. He's got the 6 of Wands. I need help down here. I am frustrated. I got the King of Cups as well. My goodness.
Yeah.
I also got the King of Cups as well, and the Lovers. He's too connected to the Sycophants, and I have the 4 of Wands, which maybe is it us, and then the 10 of Pentacles, where the happy family.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, somebody else go for it. Go ahead,
or should
Whimsy
I go?
or Jeffrey. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Well, I get a lot of endings. I get the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups, and I read a lot by number.
Me too.
And 10 is completion. I get, the real truth coming out. I know this is a card of an anxiety, but this is like, you're up late at night, and then, you get this voice in your head. It's like, oh, that's what I've been doing the whole time. Like the real soul truth comes through. Difficult times, difficult decisions. And then he tries to offer a little peace cup, but it's not enough. And then I get, this is the last card that I get. Everyone's watching. It's done. If I got 3 endings, it's like, oh, it's like, yeah. Like a car crash
landing.
Yeah, car crash land. But after the car crashes, the traffic light comes and hits the car.
Yeah.
Almost like a slapstick comedy in a way.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Whimsy? I know you.
Well, it's kind of interesting in the sense that, he has a lot of support from the Republican Party, similar to Marjorie Taylor, in the sense that he's just a vote. So he could be the most gruesome person in the world, but he's a guaranteed vote. And the reason I say that is because you have the Trumpster card and you have the Ace of Wands. So he could also shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and the Republicans could stand by him, because it's not about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad. It's about the votes. That's all they care about. So you don't even have to have an opinion, just show up to vote. And you can see the first house here is the Magician card. So this is somebody who up till now believed in himself, believes that he's invincible. The problem with his cards is that there's such a huge response. There's so much animosity. I could see a groundswell on a grassroots level to have him removed, because the GOP that's in charge has no intentions of removing him. So if there's a groundswell, it's coming from the citizens. It's not coming from the GOP. They're happy with things as they are.
I feel bad for his wife, because for one, he blamed his children for his decision to go to Cancun. He threw his kids under the bus. Trump went out and said his wife is ugly. And Cruz was like, oh, Trump, you don't get to say this. And then a week later, he's, licking his boots. It's like this man has such little character. And I can guarantee you that it's like, oh God, I really don't like this person. Like, his character is so nasty. He's like that sniveling kid that tells on everybody. And I feel like if I was his wife, I'd leave him. If I was his kids, I'd be peeved off with him. But I feel like the momentum and the world view is now going to cause him to walk away. I don't think he has a choice. I think if he wants to try to be president, he might try to separate himself from what happened on January 6th and his involvement with Trump and trying to get away from it a little bit. I don't know. There's something in it for him, because this is not a dumb man. This is an intelligent man. He's a lawyer. He knows what he should be doing, but he didn't. Like, he's very calculated. So how he didn't calculate this out or why, there's something behind that. There's a reason why he did this.
Yeah, what did he think, that he wasn't going to get caught?
Like, come on.
Yes, that's exactly what he thought.
That's
exactly what he thought, because they keep on playing that same game of, oh, I'm immune, and it's like Moscow Mitch, Leningrad Lindsay, and Chernobyl Cruz.
Yeah.
What'd you say Lindsay was?
Leningrad Lindsay.
Leningrad.
And Chernobyl Cruz. There you go. That's all I have to say.
Hagar calls the GOP the group of prostitutes or something like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Okay. So what do we have next, Whimsy? What was the next on the list?
Well, the next issue on the list has to do with the future of all of the potential lawsuits against Donald Trump. There's a couple major things going on. One is that Cy Vance out of SDNY has just hired a new person that is an expert at prosecuting crime families. There's that, but also there was some concern about why the Supreme Court is holding on releasing the taxes, because Cy Vance had requested 10 years on the taxes. Why are they delaying? What's going on with that? So a lot of questions about Cy Vance and the upcoming investigation and whether or not the Supreme Court is going to release those taxes.
Here's my intuition on the taxes, is that not only is Trump going to get in trouble, but there was a whole bunch of companies that co-signed all the BS as well. And it's going to be such a huge exposure that there's a lot of people who are interested in us never seeing them taxes.
Yeah.
Because it's like if I worked for Trump, he's going to say that he only gave me this amount of money, and I didn't have to claim all of the money, but that other money's somewhere. So now I'm connected to the lie with Trump and his taxes. You see, now I don't want none of that information to get out, because I'm now going to get in trouble.
Well, what it looked like to me, I did a remote viewing on it, and I also did a remote map. And what the map seemed to suggest is that his most vulnerable area is forensic studies into Look, people are paying him, and they're depositing their payment in. He's requesting payment in historically in questionable ways. So, say for example, he has a contract with China. They can just hide the money they're paying him in bank accounts or cryptocurrency, foreign accounts. And that seems to be what it looks like is going on in terms of some kind of forensic investigation into his taxes. It was weird when I went into the energy, because it was almost like the Supreme Court couldn't really understand what this had to do with them, because the taxes would already be the property of the IRS forensic team. And so this is really more about Cy Vance wanting to have access to stuff that the IRS already has. So there was a feeling of a little bit of confusion there, I felt, from the perspective of the Supreme Court.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the reading on it and see what the cards have to say about it.
So we're going to do the Supreme Court's releasing of Donald Trump's taxes to Cy Vance first. And I think after that, do you guys want to do Cy Vance's investigation with the new person that he hired? Okay. Yep. So we'll do the Supreme Court decision first.
Thank you, Whimsy, for bringing this. I really appreciate that.
I'm trying. I got the microphone.
I like. Yeah, she's the.
I love being the announcer on the show. It gives me meaning.
Yeah. 9 is my no cut to the truth, cut to the no BS. Get right into the middle of it. 9 is my. Whoever is laid down first, go for it. I get a sickening feeling. I'm trying to get past the nauseous feeling, and I don't know what that is.
That's reading on Trump.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. Yeah.
So I start with grief, right? I start with grief. Then I get the King of Cups coming through, the King of Wands coming through. So this is the great judge, the fair judge, right? The judge who's ready to act.
Mm.
Then I get 2 10s again. There's a lot. There's really, it's almost like there's too much information. It's almost like it's so wide. It's much wider than we can imagine. And then I get this one, another 10. So it's complete. But I also, this is a wonderful card in a lot of ways, but this can also be a little bit too fairy tale-y. Sort of like, oh, everything's fine. Our Trump organization is family. It's too fairy tale-y. They're hiding. Like, I ain't letting you know nothing. But then the outcome is it's going to come through. The outcome is it's going to come through. Right? And she could be the mother too, right? So it's like, I almost feel like it's almost like the mother of all conspiracy, just like revealing itself.
Thank you. Whimsy, Nina, whichever one.
Well, it's so weird to go into this energy because as soon as I went into the remote, or when I went into the energy of the Supreme Court, the first person I found myself sitting at the desk was Amy Coney Barrett.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw her in the vision, it was like I had been called into the teacher's office who was a very nice, sane, rational teacher, but I was caught doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. And so I think what's happening is that the Constitution is the Constitution as it was framed by the original people who created the Constitution from the perspective of true conservative like Amy Coney Barrett. And so he's now a civilian, so this really doesn't even fall into the category of the Supreme Court. And I think that that's the confusion. This is a civilian who's under criminal investigation for lying on his taxes. And so it really falls outside the jurisdiction at this point for the Supreme Court. You can see the karma cards here, 4 of Cups. They don't even want to take this case. It has no relevance anymore. And then 5 of Pentacles is to walk away from the broken man. And that's precisely the energy I saw coming in. You can see it's over. There's no need or there's no argument even to rationalize why they would even be involved. Former relationships with him, he did put 3 people on the courts, but I don't see it having anything whatsoever to do from Amy Coney Barrett's perspective or anybody else that's a conservative. It has nothing to do with the case. Do me a favor is not a constitutional argument. You can see the party is over with this individual. The final outcome is, they're releasing the taxes. It doesn't involve them anymore. It was one thing for them to hold or a controversy while he was a sitting president. At this point, I can't see any grounds. What argument could the Supreme Court have of denying a criminal investigation to SDNY on a civilian who is associated with criminal behavior, and they're doing forensics on his taxes for the last 20 years? So I think they're going to throw him to the bus. He doesn't have a constitutional leg to stand on.
Go ahead, Nina.
Okay. Just looking here. I got my son, so here's my exposure. The numbers are going to come out. They're in retreat. Here, I feel that this is not just about Trump. I think there's an involvement with the family. If you look at this card, you're seeing the children, the family's involvement. So they're at a state of retreat right now. I think that there's a complication here, just like Whimsy said, that they don't really feel like this is their place. So they're kind of in retreat, but they also know about all the information. Right here, we've got my Lovers card. I guarantee you that in this information coming out about Trump is going to be connections with other entities, other powers, other countries and stuff. But the Lovers card also tells me that once you've made this pact in the past, it's going to come back to haunt you in the future. So this is going to be a card coming out that's going to be the case going against Donald Trump. And here's the Eight of Pentacles. They're doing a review because it's not complicated because he was this smart, great money man. It's complicated because the man was a darn loser. He lost his shirt. There's so many dips and dives and people saving his ass. None of the money is his. All the money is from other people. So they're not just trying to investigate him. They're investigating Putin and Putin's people. And where did this money come from this guy? And, this person was killed in this country, but yet Trump got money. Like, it is so much more complicated. And then when you've layer that on with the United States, how much can the United States tell about this doofus without it hurting the United States and keeping the United States safe? Because this man, he's not only hurting the United States, the democracy, he already has information about the world and what they need to be able to control him. They need to look at what has he done, what does he have, and how can it affect it? Because you can't go after it and then all of a sudden something explodes to the US. They've got to be careful. They're not watching Trump's ass. They're watching the United States. They got to be careful. What damage has this man done in the last 4 years? Jesus, like, oh my God. And we only see the surface. This is a freaking iceberg, guys. We're seeing this much to come, this much to come out. So here's your exposure, my friends, and here's going to be all the connections. It's so complicated because he's not a smart man. He's a doofus. And we got to look at all these doofusy ways. That's just the end. Sorry.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
On mine, I got the Three of Cups and then Temperance, and the Three of Cups and then Temperance. The Three of Cups, like the collaboration, the keeping it together, the family, as you put it, the family. And then I got the Temperance, and I think that's where the judges came in, to where they're like, hey, there's a lot here. But we're going to handle this properly. We're not going to mess this up because there's so much here. We do not want to have anything come back into the courts and say, hey, look, they messed up. So he gets off on everything. So that's the reason why Temperance is coming in and trying, like, hey, take a breath. Let's relook at it, because this is right here, moving it forward. Moving it forward with the Ace of Cups. Moving it forward with the Ace of Cups, meaning keep your emotions out of it. Let's get down to the strategic. Let's get down to that, because we also have the Devil and then the Ten of Pentacles. The Devil, see how in this picture here, how the Devil he's got a hold of him with strings. And then it talks about the Ten of Pentacles, all of the people that are involved. We also have at the end of all of that, so they know what's going on. Heartbreak is coming, right? The heartbreak, the knowledge, the looking at it. And then we have the Queen of Cups, where it talks about that being able to present it well, being able to put it together, get all of your ducks in a row. Do not mess this up. Let's take our time. We have time, because the Tower, at the end of the whole thing, the Tower is the end result. And this is what they want to bring on to him, because they know what's going on. So Interesting. Hang on, just like I'm going to take off about like 2 minutes. My daughter-in-law is here, and I have something to give her. So hang on a second.
Hi, daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and talk together while she's taking care of that. Okay,
Yeah.
so
When she was saying temperance, I got this feeling of it going, because temperance in a way is like the alchemist, right? He's like a chemist.
Yep.
And it's like if you're a chemist and you're mixing chemicals, sometimes you have to go really, really, really slow.
Yeah.
You know, so it's this slow unraveling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you put two chemicals together really fast, it's like, ah. If you do it really slow, it's like, oh, let's watch it bubble, and then it turns a color, and you know, so it's this really slow, methodical.
Yeah.
That's what I got when she was talking about temperance, especially.
Yeah.
well, it's kind of interesting also that they're viewing it like a crime family, because if you're looking at Gotti, it was like one by one, just
Right.
seeing who would turn state's evidence, like one by one, just
Right.
chipping away. And that seems to be what's happening here with this investigation is
Mhm.
not just Michael Cohen, but I mean, in order to have a crime happen, you need more than one it can't just be one criminal.
Right.
It's a criminal network, which means that if it's anything like the Gotti case, I mean, Gotti was the one that got all the attention, but there were a lot of people that turned state's evidence. There were a lot of people that had to go into witness protection, etc. I don't know.
Well, all these I'm from New York, so, and I grew up in New York, so I know all about the mob, believe me.
Oh, well.
Yeah, because they have their fingers in every single kind of business. They take the bad money and then they put it in. So they basically bought the garment center. They bought like the wholesale meat. They bought like they took the bad money and then they put it into legit businesses. And then they got a scam going here and a scam going here and a scam going here. You know, it's the same thing as trying to like owning the neighborhood and strong arming the hardware store and the bakery. And it's the same thing, just on a bigger scale.
Well, isn't that, I mean, I don't know much about it. I'm just I'm just a simple country remote viewer. But when I went in as a remote viewer, it looked to me like a little Putin Island, that the Russian mob had gone in, and they were also trying to get into Wall Street. They were trying to get into all kinds of areas. And this was just an extension of that. But I did want to expand on this. I know it's the Daily News, but I know people are not fans of the Daily News always, but they do have a nice little intro here on who Mark Pomerantz actually is. This is the person that was hired by Cy Vance, and they're saying that he's a veteran white-collar attorney. He prosecuted the Gambino crime family boss, John Jr. Gotti, and other mobsters. So it was like a group of people in the 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
Was taped by Vance as a special assistant director attorney on February 3rd. And that was a statement that was made by Danny Frost, spokesman of the DA. So what do you think? Does this mean that we're now at a point where we're going to actually see prosecutions, or is this the beginning of the end, or is this the beginning of the beginning, or what do y'all think?
Well, for Trump, I think it's the beginning of the end. I mean, that's what I feel immediately when you said that.
What were you going to say, Nana?
Well, I'm also hopeful.
What were you going to say, Nana?
No, she said, do you think it's the beginning of the beginning or the beginning of the end? And I said, it's the beginning of the beginning. Sorry.
So what exactly is the question? Okay.
So we're looking at Mark Pomerantz.
Sorry, Nana.
We're looking at Mark Pomerantz and his work with Cy Vance being brought in. If we could find out information about why he was brought in, what he'll be doing, and any more information about the investigation into the Trump organization.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yes. And Nina, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I think Cy has a plan. I think there's a good reason why he's bringing somebody in. I think there's so much information. Like I can't imagine. I would love to be a fly on the wall just to get into the papers and just just nibble through and to see what information and what does Trump know and what does he have on people. I don't even want to go to the government. I want to see what Trump has. I want to know what the conversations were, because they must have been interesting, because he can't even form a sentence. So I could just picture, imagine him talking to Putin and Putin just going, this is too easy. Like, it's just too much. you know? So,
All right, so
right.
let's go ahead and let's read on that and see what's
Ooh.
going on with that. Hi, Lori.
Mark
Sue.
Pomerantz. That is his name.
Mark
The new
Pomerantz.
prosecuting attorney hired by Cy Vance.
Okay.
You're right. Trump does live via blackmail. He doesn't know how to have relationships. He has absolutely zero idea how to form a relationship with another human being. He doesn't, he doesn't even. A friendship is a foreign concept. I have to either use or discard you. These are the only options I have with you in life and with children. Everything, use or discard you.
Yeah.
But it also reaps its own rewards back to him, because he not only does that to them, then he's also the person who is being used or discarded as well. So that's his life. That's his world. Can you imagine the pain? Can you imagine how much of yourself you have to give up in order to be like him? Think about how far down the scale would you have to go in order to act like him? That's a question.
Well, this Mark Pomerantz is the dude. He's the dude. I mean, look at these cards. This is like beyond belief. I get the clarity, the illumination. I get the sword of truth. Boom. And death. And this is the real unraveling. This is the real because if you go really deep into if this is the Scorpio energy will pick up everything. It'll go to the bottom of the lake. Let's go to the bottom of the lake and get it all. Get it all. And what I love about the, to me, this is a great card. But, the king is dead, right? The king is dead. And spirit survives. And then afterwards, everything is backwards. It's very hard to point. Here comes the illumination, right? Afterwards, after this is done, the path becomes very clear. So I think Pomerantz is the guy. Go Pomerantz.
What do you got, Nana?
Oh, sorry. I was listening. Go ahead.
That's all I have to say.
Oh, okay.
I mean, after you get death, it's sort of like, well, do I really need to throw any more cards?
Well, I got my, Nine of Pentacles. So here we're looking at a self-sufficient man. This is a man who's been given resources. He's been given free reign to kind of look into things. Here I've got my Two of Wands. There's something that we think that there's this. He's looking past this. There's something more that's happening that we're not even aware of. Because if you see, he's got the world in his hands and he's looking past it. This is beyond what we even understand. But here's the Ace of Swords. So truth is just going to be they're not doing this just to get Trump. They're going after this for truth. This is this is the Ace of Swords. They're going to go after it. If it means slow and steady wins the race, that's what they're going to do. But they're going to leave no stone unturned. There's information and there's more. There's something about something that we're not aware of, something that's going to be coming out, another situation that's going to be coming out. And here I got my Emperor. This is Trump. It's directly involved. All roads are going to lead to Trump and all roads are going to come from Trump. So I think this is their investigation is going to go outside because of Trump and his information that's going out. And we got the Fool. So there's a feeling of this is at the beginning. We're starting off. This is the start of our journey. So now let's start going after and looking for information. And so I just kind of feel like right now, this is the right person at the right time. He's self-sufficient. He's got the resources and he's looking for the truth. Truth is the most important thing to this guy to get this out. There's something happening where and Trump is here. He actually showed up. So I think he's going to be a positive spin on this. So,
what do you got, Nan? Whimsy? Sorry.
Oh my God. I got so much information. I'm so happy. The base of the matter for Mark Pomerantz in relationship to Trump jail. The amazing thing I feel when I go into this energy is that they really are treating him like a civilian. He's not the president. He's just a civilian criminal involved in criminal activities, because the karma card is the 3 of Wands, and that's all. It's like all steam ahead. There's no obstruction. 3 of Wands is you get your wish. It also can be a 3-month period if you're reading it as Wands is. So there's no obstruction from criminal justice. They threw this guy to the wolves. It goes back to the whole Mitch McConnell has to chop the head off the beast. I loved Saturday Night Live. They were making fun of that, where the character playing Mitch McConnell, like, you're a horrible person. He's like, oh my God, it felt so good. I waited 4 years to say that. You know, like, it was very, very funny. It's like, because everybody knows that this is Mitch McConnell's job. This is the only way to save the Republican Party, because you can't have a party that's trying to destroy the federal government. So it's like, we all know where this is headed, and where it's headed is jail. But I agree with what Jeffrey said about Mark Pomerantz. Look at these cards. The Constitution wins is the final outcome. But what's also interesting is here, he has permission. And also look at this, full steam ahead, 1 month, boom, boom, boom. Looking at the family legacy, the fact that the 3 of Cups is sitting in the 3rd house, he also has carte blanche. He can hire as many assistants and as help as he wants. And in the near future, Star card, they already know what the financial records released by the Supreme Court, they already know. They already know a lot of that stuff. So I think it's not just Trump. I think it's the whole Trump network. It's the whole business. I think that, it goes back to Michael Cohen 2.5 years ago, when he was sobbing and talking about signatures. They have everything. Maybe it's going to take 3 years. Maybe it's going to take 4 years. But I go back to that remote when he said, cooperate, Ivanka, baby girl, because they already got your signature. They got everything. That remote was 2.5 years ago. So they've had 2.5 years to know this was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I see. They're in trouble.
Well, mine's just gonna sound exactly like your guys's. So, I have the 8 of Swords, where it talks about, and they're starting to lose a lot of compassion. This is self-imposed. You did this to yourself. We have no, we're going to just keep on going, because we also have that public recognition and that victory. It's like, we can get this. We will get this, and we will get there, because we have the Knight of Wands, that steady progress, that he's charging in. He's going to go deep. I like that analysis with the Scorpion. We're going to the bottom of the ocean, and we're going to get everything. I love that analogy, because they're following the chaos. They're following the tower. They're following the fallout. They're also following the lust. That was one thing that they have that I picked up on the most when I said that, is this guy is smart enough to follow the lust, because Trump had lust after money, and so he was going to do everything he can to get it. And there is where he fell short on every laws, all of that stuff. We also have the teamwork. Teamwork meaning family. Teamwork meaning all people who are involved in that. They're also going to have that standing their ground. He's going to stand their ground. He goes like, no, we're going. We're going to go through this. We're going to get all this done. We also have the moon, which is inverted, which is silence. It's, you are delusional if you think that we're going to be silent about this whole situation. You are absolutely crazy. We're going to definitely get in there, and we're going to bring it all up. And the thing about that is, I feel the most is like it's like that panther. He's sneaking, and he's waiting for that perfect moment to pounce. I don't know why that is important to this guy, but that's important to this guy, to pounce, and to pounce hard. So that's what I got.
That was pretty impressive, Miss Sheila. So I think we're at the top of the hour. Before we get to the more hot topics, I just wanted to say, I know some people have to take off. Be sure and share, like, subscribe, and push the bell notification if you haven't been able to do so yet, so that you can have updates about all the exciting videos from Miss Sheila.
So let's continue on
I'm so honored. I feel like, maybe the three of you are like, Whoopi and Joy and whoever else is on it. And
I'm
I'm
Joy
like the guest
Behar.
star. I feel like oh, what's that movie you made for HBO? Well,
That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly
I know.
And people love it. So, celebrity gossip, people, celebrity gossip.
So what do you get? So let's see.
Oh my God, the royals are back in the news. The first, of course, we're wishing good wishes for Prince Philip. He was put back into the hospital. He was unfortunately not feeling well, so we just wanted to give prayers to Prince Philip. Evidently, he is doing a little bit better. The second big bit of news, Harry and Meghan will not be returning to royal duty. This was just released by the palace. The Queen is happy for them, but they're not going to be returning to royal duty. And I think we all know why, but we can talk about that. And Meghan is Mazel Tov, expecting her second baby. Let's discuss. What y'all think about that? Royal news.
I think Nina nailed it. She talked about the baby a lot. When was that on one of your videos a while back? You're like, you nailed it.
Yeah, like 9 months ago or so. But I got to tell you, I don't care about them. I don't care what they do. I don't care. I'm just happy that Canada's not having to pay for them. I think it's time. I just congratulations. I just in this time of coronavirus and this time of just not barely making it through, I don't give a sweet G's about the royal family. Sorry. Stay healthy, stay bright, do whatever, stay over there.
Well, Canada's attached to the royal family.
I know. I grew up with it.
I think you're the voice of Canada, girl.
I am. I met Princess Di and her husband when they came to Canada, and we were singing. And of course, being in Newfoundland, we're not singing, normal songs. It's "We'll rent and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders," and they're like clapping with us, right? And it was just amazing to see Diana, because Newfoundland's a small place, so it's not like there's millions of people and you can't they're walking next to you, right? And I mean, we were singing Newfie tunes and they had a wonderful time. That was amazing. When I was a kid, it was amazing. But I'm not paying for these people. I don't care. So I just don't want all the fuss,
So Whimsy, do we have another topic?
Oh God, I hope she doesn't.
We have a lot of topics actually. I had a huge list, and then I had to, I get maybe 100 emails a day, so I have to go through everything. So the other is about
I get no email.
Rush Limbaugh passing away, the controversy regarding the legacy that he left. Do we feel that the legacy, first off, he did get the Presidential Medal of Honor, right? Yep. So he did.
But look who he got it from, though.
Right.
So a lot of people want to know our feelings about his legacy, what he left behind, how we feel about him as whether we like it or not. He was kind of iconic, and we've lost a lot of important people in broadcasting this year. Not just him, but Larry King as well. So a lot of icons have passed away this year that were part of broadcasting.
Well, I think that all of this mean, horrible stuff is leaving the earth. This is just one more example of a rotten person leaving this earth under these circumstances, and I just don't have any. He was horrible. He showed us everything that we should never ever be in this house. And the thing about it is, I really don't understand people who thought he was wonderful. Like, how can you listen to somebody just degrade another human being like he did and consider that worth listening to? That's maybe the conversation we should have. Is why is that possible? How is that possible?
Because people like to follow. This way, they don't have to really make up their own minds. You made my opinion from me, and therefore I can follow you, and then I don't have to take responsibility. I think that's what it's about. Look, they're famous, so they must know what they're talking about. But I think that the day of that really super duper important broadcaster, like as you were talking, Whimsy, I feel like it's all, there are so many news stations now, and there's so much stuff that I don't think it's going to be the same. There's no Walter Cronkite anymore. There's no like, this is the person who gives me the news. I think it's more like, well, I get a little news there, and I get a little news there, and I get a little news there, and I think it's disseminated. You know, it's spread out. I think that's the way it's going. But you know, of course, I didn't like Rush Limbaugh, but he was kind of like the poster child of, you know, that media superstar, who, you know, and he, in a certain way, was really the beginning of all this kind of conservative hatred. You know, he was like the superstar of it. He was the one who, you know, really, he lit the match. He lit the match. So now that the match lighter is gone, it's like, I don't think it's going to be like this.
trying to light a whole bunch of other.
You know, I don't see it happening at the moment. I mean, maybe that's my own hope.
Yeah.
I guess my take on it is that I hope he had a good transition. I hope that whatever he needs to deal with will be dealt with, and leave the dead to the dead. I hope that his life was not for nothing. We all have a purpose here. Some of us are here to show the light. Some of us are here to show the dark. And there's an internal for each one of us to find our own path and look for our own light. So, I mean, I know we could get here and really ream him because he wasn't a nice human being. But I think in deep inside of us, we all have God. And there was people that there's something worthy inside of him that he was here. And, you know, I bless him. I hope that whatever his purpose was fulfilled. We see it as negatively, but when you're put out into this world, it's neither negative or positive. It's all how your perspective in seeing it. And he was of value to some people, and there are people that are mourning his loss. So I mourn with them that they find some peace, that maybe this will be that his life, or how people view his life, might be the trigger that gets them thinking a different way, you know, like maybe this will cause a discussion, and some people will start seeing a different way, or they won't, and they're feeling the loss. So, you know, I just hope he has a good transition. I bless all the people that are dealing with pain and heartache, because look, you can have somebody who's a real son of a bee, and there's somebody's father, there's somebody's brother, there's somebody's son, and they're loved. So I just, you know, I'll just leave it at that.
Good point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be that kind yet, but go ahead, Whimsy.
I was going to say those were the main hot topics. The only last thing I would say, the follow-up on Britney Spears, people had wanted to just mention briefly, was that she is evidently winning some battles.
Awesome. Good for her.
I mean, it just absolutely, what a nightmare that turned out to be.
And Kim Kardashian is getting divorced.
Yes, I read that. Yeah.
Isn't that?
God bless them.
Yeah.
I wonder if they can sell the photographs to People magazine.
Oh, guaranteed this is all going to be out on their final season. This is all set up for their final. Oh, guaranteed, 100%. And we're going to see Kim's ugly cry face. It's like a tradition, you know.
It's not like those girls can keep a hold of a guy anyway. They go through them like, you know.
God bless
a bag of potato chips.
But so beautiful, and then they ruin their face and they look like, you know, blow up dolls. Like, they were beautiful girls. Like, they didn't need a thing.
Nothing.
Like, oh my God. God bless her.
I know. And Kanye West can go away. He can just go away.
He needs help.
All right,
God
so
bless him.
so we're at the end. I have a question. Remember, what we do here is we leave these lives as high vibrating as possible. So the question of the day is, what was your most profound lesson in life that brought you to enlightenment? And Whimsy, you can go first.
Easy question.
Yeah, thanks. It's interesting. I was reading that question today. I was like, I don't think of myself as enlightened, so I don't know how I can really answer that. I think like lately, what I've been meditating on is the different, how we can spin off these stories and call it enlightenment. We can, when the truth of the matter is, it's just a story we create in order to maybe cope with trauma or something like that. And for me, I think enlightenment is something about just having the strength to see things as they really are without putting any frosting on top of it. That's the way things are, because unfortunately we live in a sick world. Or I think a lot of the time in the quote unquote spiritual community, where there's this pressure to create stories to make things appear nicer than they actually are. Like the story, oh, well, that happened to you because maybe, and then the story goes off. And for me, I think enlightenment is just that I have gotten to a point in my life, in my health and in my recovery, that I can see things as they really were without needing to create some kind of fantasy story. I accept the reality of what was without needing to romanticize it. To me, that was enlightenment. For me, it was my divorce, because there was a time in my life when just pretending that everything was okay was convenient. I didn't want to do any self-exploration. I was busy. I was in medical school. Then I went straight into a residency. I didn't have time to deal with my personal life. Go, 5-year residency. So for me, enlightenment was not having the physical energy to try and present myself as something that I am not. And also I read Brene Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection. And really this idea that we can't really talk about being enlightened until we're at peace with our authentic selves. So I guess that's what I would contribute. I don't know. What y'all think of that?
I loved it. Love it, Whimsy. Nina, what do you think?
Well, I kind of went down a different path, because when I looked at enlightenment, like when was the point when I realized there's something more than what I was told or what I was raised with or what I grew up with. And I don't know if they're soulmates or that kind of a thing, but my mother would have been that to me. We were like an old married couple without the sex, and we forged a relationship that was beautiful. And I remember when she died and we were at the casket, and, they rolled it down that one little foot to just go down. And I remember screaming in my head, I got to let you go. I got to let you go. And it was in that moment that I realized it wasn't about Mom. It wasn't about her being stuck here or stuck with me. That's such BS. It was about, how do I carry on? How do I keep her in my heart? How do I keep her thoughts, feelings, emotions? And if they were negative, how do I grow from them? How do I change from them? And it was this moment of realizing that I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for how I move forward. I'm responsible if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm responsible for the people in my life. And I realized that I was so blessed to have a mom and dad that gave me a really good foundation where I was able to hold on and then let go, because isn't that what life is all about? Loving something enough to let it go. And that was when I realized it's all about loving without judgment and letting go, because, you might not realize the impact of yourself, but you could go to a store and be a real bitch to somebody, and that person might go home, and that might be the final straw that they decide to take their lives. So I realized how impactful small things are. And with when I saw my mom's thing go down, I realized what my responsibility was. So I really try to go out of my way to be kind to people. I try, even if they don't deserve it, because I wonder, are they being beaten at home? What's their life? What's broken on them that they're so unhappy? So I try my best to fix myself help those around me, but really trying to live as authentically and as true as I can, not harming others. And that's my enlightenment, is that it's not about everything. It's about you. It's about right here inside of you. It's not out there. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my enlightenment. And that's when I started my journey of working on myself. So, yeah.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, I know when he texted me that thing, I was like, am I awake?
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, in a way, it was really, really understanding and okay, so I'll tell you a story. So like about 20 years ago or so, I went on this like kind of I don't know, this I came from a messed up family retreat, and you kind of let all your stuff out, and we beat stuff and all that. And then when I got back from that place, you know, I would hear all these people saying, oh, it's all about spirit, it's all about God. And so I started getting very serious about connecting and about spirit and about inner rage. Like, that's where I was coming from. I was coming from a state of rage. And that was the energy that I needed to like get me there, right? Mm-hmm. And so for a long time I would sit like this, right? And say, what do you want? What do you want? Take it all. What do you want? You know, because I had no faith really. I was going through the actions and almost like as an I dare you to show yourself. That was my energy. That was totally my energy. And what happened was I kept on going deeper and deeper down this path, and all of a sudden something like opened up in me and opened up here, and I realized that in fact I wasn't in charge. I didn't know what I was doing. I had been led the whole time, and I had been loved and accepted the whole time. And I was so busy being in charge and knowing everything that I didn't leave room for like spirit or love or anything like that to really come in. And you know, I remember sitting in one particular meditation. I don't even know when it was quite a few years ago already. And I got this. I really kind of connected with. I don't even know what to call it, you know, spirit. I don't know what to call it. And I really and truly and completely felt loved like I'd never felt before. And that's when I really got that I wasn't alone on this earth, that I'd been actually led and taken care of throughout my whole life. And I had to like step out of my own way. So I think for me, it was really getting and being able to and being willing to let go of pride. Let go of pride. Which is, you know, it's it's really like, you know, it's like the general with the things, with the epaulets or whatever. It was like, oh my God. And then the sleeve goes and the hat goes off. And then it's like, here I am naked, you know, spiritually, and being able to say, and be able to feel, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But it took, you know, it took what it took. It took what it took. That's the only way I could have learned it. For me, that was the only way I could have learned it. It was exactly the way it was supposed to be. It was exactly the way it was supposed to be. And so that's why, actually, like what you said, Nina, you know, I think you have to go to that place. For me, I had to go to that place in order to have deep, deep, deep compassion for people. Because so many people are living in this place of being separate from themselves, from others, from the world, from spirit, from whatever, and telling themselves some story, I'm this and I'm that, and it's like, maybe you're bigger than that. So that's what I try to promote, like on my station. It's like, I'm like the most enthusiastic reader. It's like, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm with you. You can do it. Because we're all mirrors of each other. And I feel like at this time in the world, it's sort of like we all need to be each other's cheerleaders,
Yeah.
Have a little megaphone, however you want to see it. I like to do metaphors, my little things or my trombone or whatever it is,
Yeah.
So, understanding that we all, our job or our honor is to do that for each other. It's my honor to do that for people, because it's a mirror. That if I do that for you, you're doing that for me. The more compassion I have for you, the more compassion I have for me.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Blessings. What about you, Sheila?
Okay. I also have a little story. It's easier for me to tell it in a story. I think I was like 25, 26 years old. And I had just gotten a divorce from my first husband, and I had these two babies. They were, 4, 5, 6, something like that, years old. And I had to be the only mom. I had to be the only parent. I had to go to work. I had to figure out how to get through college, because I was, at K-State, and I'm doing all of these things. I'm, going to school full time, working full time, and being a mom full time. And I was just absolutely losing it. And somewhere along the way, somehow, some way, through my family, through whatever, I got the message that there was something wrong with me that cannot be fixed. And I have no idea where I got that message from. And it was just on me. And everything I was trying to do to better myself and get my children out of poverty, all of this stuff, I was doing that. And I remember that one day, and my body gave out, my mind gave out, everything. If some people call it a nervous breakdown, I don't know if I went that far, because I was still in faculties. But I laid down on my bed in my room, and I was just crying. I literally laid down, not planning on getting back up. I wasn't there to commit suicide. I just said, I'm done. I am absolutely done. And I lay down on my bed, and I absolutely heard a voice. And I'm in my room all by myself. My children at this time were up in Chicago with their father, and I'm in my house by myself. And it was a single living house, so it wasn't like I had an apartment. And I lay down on my bed, and I hear, Sheila, get up. And I looked, and I go, no, I'm not. And I heard one more time, Sheila, get up. And I thought to myself, if I am so alone, if I am so broken, why is anybody caring if I get up off of this bed anymore? And I heard it one more time, Sheila, get up. And finally I just sat up in bed, and I was up, and I was like, fine. And I said to myself, if there's something else out there for me, you better show it to me quick, because I'm ready to be done. And I got up off of there, and this warm feeling came over me. This audio voice again says, you are protected no matter what. And I thought, and I had to investigate it. That was my opening. That was my crack. That was my one moment to realize there was something more out there than me just trying to lay down and die over just being so overwhelmed. And finally, I got that one crack. And so when I say that one moment, that one experience that I got to enlightenment, I realized that there was more. There was more to life. There was more out there. There was spirit. There was a lot more help than I thought I was. I wasn't alone, like somebody said, and I needed to get up, and I needed to investigate that. Now, here's the second thing that happened to me is, now that I heard that voice, I started praying to that voice. I started asking for that help. I started engaging in that, and the spirit guides, whatever it is that is out there. Finally, all of that pain that was inside of me subsided. And that thought process that there's something wrong with me that cannot be fixed was dissolved. Now, if that isn't the most powerful thing for me to realize what enlightenment is, I can't go back. Right? I can't go back from that. I cannot walk away from that experience and say, no, there is no enlightenment. There is no such thing as that, because it was so profound and it was so important to me. And since, that moment on, I have engaged in enlightenment. I was able to, finish school. I was able to take care of my children. I was, there was so much that just opened up. And here I was at the moment I was ready to give up, I was shown there was no reason to.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
Yay.
That was
I'm
beautiful.
glad that you heard that.
That was really beautiful.
And it hasn't stopped. The voice hasn't stopped.
Right.
I don't want to tell any doctors that, because they tend to think that I should need medicine. But anyways.
Nah, you're all right.
All right, everybody.
I give you a bill of health there.
Thank you, Dr. Whimsy.
You're as crazy as all of us.
That's right.
So we have a new guest next week. I forget her name. Who is it that we're having next week?
Susan Lynn, psychic medium.
Yes. So thank you, Jeffrey, for being here.
Yes.
So Jeffrey, thank you for being a guest.
It was lovely to meet you.
Yes, you too.
You will come back, because I
thank you so much. This really it helped me a lot, and I like it's weird reading with other readers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I sometimes I watch other readers, and like we all have our own interpretation of the cards, and they change. But sometimes I get like this. Oh, yeah, that's another way to see that card. I think it's fascinating. Fascinating. And Whimsy, I sent you a scarf when you were living in LA.
Oh, I was thinking that was you. Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah. It's kind of, and you're Aries, so I kind of go where, and I was like, oh, she's Aries. She's fiery. So it's got a red and pink.
But the truth is, I love it so much. I don't like wearing it very often because I'm scared I'm going to hurt the scarf.
Exactly.
You're not going to hurt the scarf.
So you need to make one for Nina.
That I want to wear a scarf, but then it's like, oh, it's so pretty.
My neck is so cold.
I always wear scarves because I have a really long neck. People are always like wondering about my scarves. Do I have a scarf that I'm covered? I have a normal neck, but look how long it is. I have like an heifer neck.
Perfect for scarves.
And when I get cold, it's always my neck first. So this time of year, I'm just like, I got to get my neck warm.
There you go. You got to wear Jeffrey's scarf. And Nina needs one. She definitely, and Nina's a Scorpion color? Too. So you guys are both Scorpions. So you guys can
you're
both.
A Scorpio. Oh,
I'm a Scorpio.
I love me my Scorpios, girl. I love me my. I do weeklies for all the signs, and when I get to Scorpio, I go there. I go, you're a Scorpio. You can handle it. You can say, oh, you're going to die again? You're going to be reborn again? Whatever.
Yeah, that's us.
All right. Yeah. So we have a new guest next week, and thank you very much. And next week, I love Whimsy, how she brings it forth, and she always has that Aries that how do I put that? Making sure we're all on task, because I'm the Gemini.
Nobody likes us. Just pick fights.
I'll digress. But I know that Nina has a lot to offer as well, and so we have this lots. We can't do this without you, Nina.
No, you're actually, the three of you are really, really good together. You really are. That's the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we cannot do this without you. So it would be just the Gemini talking if it wasn't for you two. All right. So. All right, everyone. Thank you. Make sure that you hit the like button on the way out. And thank you very much for being here. And everybody smile, because this is the last nice little picture that YouTube takes. So make sure it's a good one.